A little bit about who does this, because that's often the challenge. Fundraising can be time consuming, and it needs a specific skill, and it actually really needs a mindset. You need to find people within the organisation or within the community that are driven to want to bring that money in and happy to put the time in, happy to go down dead ends, and happy to ask and feel comfortable in asking for money. Leadership has a role. As head of the organisation, you will need to form a relationship with your funders. That's important. They've invested in you and they want to know what sort of vision you have for their money. But that's probably where the leadership role stops, because fundraising, while it's vitally important, it isn't always urgent. It isn't always the thing that's going to get us through to the next concert, it's going to solve the staffing issue in a school, and if it's solely the responsibility of somebody who has a lot of urgent matters on their desk, it probably won't get done. So leadership has a role, but also look for people within the organisation that can devote time that won't be taken away from absolutely vital services. This can be support staff, it can be part of a support role. It can be volunteers. Quite often we've got people around us who can do some of the really time-consuming tasks and are happy to help. Some of it can be done by freelance fundraisers, and I'll talk a little bit about that, because that's obviously a hugely helpful resource and it's a skill that we should learn to use. The downside of using freelance fundraisers is that they're obviously driven by getting money in. They don't always care how much difficulty it's going to cause you to deliver what they've promised. So if you're using a freelance fundraiser, a very useful resource with lots of skill, make sure you're working very closely with them and that they're promising the sort of things you want to do and that they're aligned to your organisation and they understand your organisation. They need to paint a picture to the funders, and it needs to be the picture of how you see yourself and of your vision. Let's think about the role of tutors in this, and the other adults around our children. I think it's important that everybody in the organisation understands that as a team we're trying to engage with the community to get them to help support us. I'm not suggesting that teachers are going to get hugely involved in raising lots of money. That's not the point. It's about becoming an organisation that has these expectations. A lovely example for us is we did a sponsored grade 3-a-thon. And what we had to do was learn to play an instrument which we were given at Christmas, lent at Christmas, and pass grade 3 in Easter, which was a huge challenge and a huge amount of work, and raised a small amount of money. A fair bit of it in exam fees, to be fair. But it got everybody working extremely closely together, it did a lot for morale, and it did raise a bit of money, but it got the message out there to our parents and to our tutors that this was an important part of our organisation. And I think that's important, and I think it's part of changing our mindset.